Okay, so we've got two more things that I want to make sure that we check in with because I love structure. You know, when I'm considering joining something, I'm like, how does this play out? I love surrender, and also I kind of like to know what I'm about to get. I'm like, okay, the structure is surrender. We're just going to surrender. But we do have a beautiful structure on how this experience plays out, right? So we have 3 different phases. We have space between the phases, which I love because that gives us integration. And then 3 days each time. But we're saying each day, we have a different type of activity that is happening. So could you go through day 1, day 2, day 3 of each of these phases and what that looks like?
Yes. So I've structured this in 3 separate weekends in 3 different months. And the reason that I've done this is because the leaders that will be here, we are thinkers. And we love to think, we love to dwell in the psychology of our own minds and the psychology and the minds of others. We love that. And we also love spaciousness. We love community and we love togetherness when we love it. And so understanding all the dynamics of leaders who are on their path to greatness, I recognized, okay, let's do this in a collegiate level way where you get to spend 1 weekend with me in a month. And in that weekend, the first day is what I call the clearing. And this is where we support each other to dissolve all the energetics of the 21 days we haven't been together. Because we've been out on the battlefield called Instagram, the battlefield called LinkedIn. That makes me giggle.
It's a real battlefield out there.
Like we've been in the battlefield called Substack. We've been in the battlefield called email marketing and YouTube. And we catch things by contagion when we're doing that. And so the first day is about clearing that energetic and realigning you. So imagine it like you're going to an energetic chiropractor in the best way. And then on day 2 is when I will teach the principle of the spotlight, the energetic that we're expanding at that time. And what lights me up about this is day 3, everyone teaches it back. So I've designed this experience to be highly interactive and engaging, sprinkled with so much fun role play so that you can see yourself be witnessed and observed by others. And this entire experience is coded with edification. We all have an inner critic. We don't need anyone outside of us imbuing our critic with more information. Edification is a lost art, but it is critical to the codes of magnetism being fortified and really integrated into your now. And so on day 3, everyone will present and teach back and receive edification, receive the wind at their back. And that makes a difference because we borrow from those energetics and then we amplify them out into our world. And then finally, after the 3 months, then we come together for an in-person where everyone presents to each other in person on stage in another depth and expansion of the spotlight. Cameras, their videography, photography, all of it, and you fully being seen, shining among your peers. I mean, just imagine if that's what graduation would have been like in 12th grade, that you got to stand up and say, this is what I want to be for our world. And everyone is clapping and celebrating. What would the next day have looked like for you instead of fear, anxiety, and what the fuck, you know?
I love that. So 3 months, that's happening on Zoom, right? And
Yes.
then in person, everybody's on stage, full experience, shining as all of you in front of these peers that you've gone through this experience with. So it is a safe space. And also you just get to be all of you, to wow out. To wow out. Like, we're ready. I see myself on the stage with the purple hair. And
And the thing that I want to say about that, what makes it beautiful is I have been in union with the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King since I was a little girl. And so when I heard Martin Luther King say one day, and I heard him say, I have a dream. And I heard him say little black boys and little white boys and little white girls and little, black girls. When I heard that, I took that on as a charge. So my community, what I magnetize to me is incredibly diverse. Our audience is international. Our audience is non-binary. Our audience is queer. Our audience is Black and brown. Our audience speaks with a unique dialect. Our audience speaks in languages that are not mainstream, that the world does not know. I magnetize the indigenous people. I call forward those that are coming out of the soil of newness and of awakening. And so I want to say to everyone that's listening, if you don't look like me, amen, come on. If you don't talk like me, amen, come on. If you think uniquely than me, if you have a unique neurodivergence than what you have seen in the world, come on, baby. It is time for your voice to be used as medicine to heal our world. If all of us are the same, then that means we start to negate the necessity of us. So I am canceling the Stepford wives. I am canceling the Stepford way of speaking. We speak like this. We look like this. We all have perfect veneers and the best, all the clothes and the stylist and the this, and it's all no. Throw on, wrap your head up and put on your queenly garments and look your unique way and come out in your own path. If Gary Vaynerchuk could do it, you can do it.
I love it. The last part of this that is so relevant to what we were just talking about, right, is this triad, the triad, right? So we're going to bring in these people from all over. And we also have an opportunity to work hand in hand and get a little bit more intimate, or probably a lot more intimate with specific people. It's always amazing when you're in a crowd and I always say my mama, because always my mama, like your mama is there, right? So we were talking about graduation. There is going to be somebody there who really knows your story in depth and has been supporting you throughout your journey. And we get that dual point of view. So let's talk about that triad experience. I want to end on that a little bit more. And yeah, tell me, Allison.
Absolutely. So Source Energies invited me to create something called Spotlight Sidekicks. Mm-hmm. And so this is a reframe on accountability and partnership inside of a program experience. So this gives an opportunity for someone that's in this program experience with me to work with me and one of their peers together. And we create a triangle together. What I love about this is the spiritual shape of a triangle is such a strong reflection to the oneness. I love the power of the number 3. But let me tell you why I practically did this too, because I am a phenomenal story shower. I don't just tell a story, I show it. And so these particular sessions aren't in the weekends. You schedule this separate with you, your spotlight sidekick, and me, and we work on your story showing ability, the ability to open your mouth and create a vehicle for people that they get in it and they're like, oh, I'm going somewhere, or an airplane, or maybe the way that you speak creates waves of surfing for them and they're on a surfboard, or maybe the way that you speak makes them feel like they're on a mountain trail. But the ability to know that about yourself, to speak in shapes and colors and sounds. And that is an exquisite way to use your good power, your God power, and to master your voice as medicine in another way, because spirit doesn't speak our language, spirit speaks frequency. And the more that we learn how to reflect in that way, that expands our ability for the masses, if that's what we're desiring, or even greater retention and comprehension from our audiences when we are speaking.
And I love that because so many of us hesitate. We don't have the confidence. We don't have the, we had it, but we had quite a bit of barriers to be able to fully show our stories, to bring people in, to feel confident to just keep speaking even. And so as I hear this, I love that we've got an intimate space to practice that as well. And we get to also still practice in public, but with a group of our peers and with you, Miss Allison. With that, we've gone through in depth. We've gotten some beautiful lessons and wisdoms. I know I'm going to go back and listen to this again because there have been some gems. There's some moments where I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you. So thank you for all of that. And if you had to leave us with one thing as we're closing out this conversation on Spotlight Energetics and this new experience that you're ushering in for us in this moment and for the world, frankly, in this moment. Yeah. What is the last thing you want to leave us with?
The last thing that I want to leave us with is there are humans that are listening to this, watching this, whatever platform they find it on, that one, you've been praying for a sign. This is your sign. And I can undeniably say that. Two, for the human that's a full fuck yes, you've been a fuck yes the entire time, welcome. Three, for the human that is on the fence because that's your habit. It's your habit to be on the fence. I've been that human. It's okay. Take a breath. It can become uncomfortable to receive the answer that we've been seeking because it becomes a habit to be a seeker versus a receiver. So I want to say that if hesitation is present, ask yourself, is hesitation my habit? And give yourself permission to not experience any measure of shame, but only joy. You know, this is elective only to the people that don't feel that they have greatness to offer our world. If greatness is in you, greatness is you. If circumstances have riddled your psyche more than your vision, that happens to all of us. And for me, I learned to ignore the limitations that I was placing on myself, that the world was placing on me, and just go, what if it's not fucking true? Let me try that. The first time I did it, I stood on stage and made $62,400. That was my evidence. I've never looked back. So that's what I think. I think we showed up as people's evidence, and I think don't look back, look ahead.
Don't look back, look ahead. Become the spotlight, right? We are all medicine. Our voices are medicine. Unleash the healing power in our voice. I don't know. It's been a beautiful, beautiful moment. So thank you so much, Allison. Thank you for inviting me to be here and to receive today.
We've been so drunk on joy talking to each other. We're all like, I love this.
Great time. And I'm gonna hit you up about that program. Just honestly. Come
on, girl. Come on.
Awesome. All right. So as we wrap up this conversation on Spotlight Energetics, one, I want to say a big thank you, Allison. You have given us so much juicy wisdom as we have gone through this. I know that my personal thought on the spotlight, like my personal ideas around it have already shifted just through this conversation. I know I am ready. I'm gonna use your words, over ready to be part of this experience. I'm not just saying this for the video. I'm really excited. And I want to give you a chance to leave folks with just one last thing that you want to share with them. But first, I want to give one thing I'm noticing as we go through this. In addition to how carefully curated this feels, right? We've sat down, we've thought through the different phases, we've given people time to have integration throughout. there's just a level of care that seems to have been integrated into this experience. And it is easy to, with your knowledge, your intelligence, your wisdom, to forget that you are human and that you know what it feels like to be a human on the other side of this. And you've not just integrated that in the way you've actually written things out, but also in the way that you do everything. And so, one, thank you for caring. Thank you for putting the care in a way that I can visibly see, and for always exuding care and love in all that you do. And with that, I'm gonna give you the mic for like, what is your last thing on Spotlight Energetics for today? For today, of course.
Thank you for that. My last thing will be about your last thing. How did I come to this depth of care and compassion? And honestly, the Spotlight taught me. One of the things about speaking to the masses is the Spotlight will help you dissolve the energetic of people pleasing, not being yourself at the sacrifice and expense of other. And so because those energetics have dissolved, deep compassion is present. Because I'm deeply compassionate with myself, it's all that I can be with other outside of me, because other is never really other, right? So that's what I feel like humans feel. I live by the highest law, the law of harmony, which supports the law of cause and effect. I am the cause of good in my world, and as a reflection, I live good. Those are the realities that humans who master thriving in the spotlight will be in. And so I'm grateful for these moments. I'm grateful for this time that you and I shared. And I'm grateful for every human that I get to welcome into Spotlight Energetics. You were born for the spotlight.
I love you so much, Alice.
I love you back, my love.
Thank you so much for this time today.